Thank you guys so much for coming. I am so honored to be here, and I'm so grateful to Mountainside to invite me to do this. This material I am so passionate about, and I could talk about it all day long. So I'm going to try to keep it in the time frame, but feel free to ask questions and engage, because I don't know what you know, and I really want to help share this information as much as I can. So thank you. Before we start, is there coaches in the room? I know Dylan is a coach. Yep. Any other coaches in there? Yay! Okay, we get 2 coaches. Yay! Has anyone in the room before had a life coaching session, an actual session? How many people have had a session? Okay. All right. Good. Good to know. Please go out and get a life coaching session. It is the most amazing experience, and it's so clarifying. You won't regret it. But I like that as I'm presenting more and more, I'm getting to see more hands with that. Okay, so I want to just start with a really simple question, which is, how is your spirit today? How is your spirit? So just take a moment to connect with that part of you, that most authentic part of you, and just check in with, how's it doing today? Got it? If your spirit was wearing a specific outfit today, what would it be wearing? Mine would be wearing rain boots, I think. If it was asking for more of something in your life, what would it be asking for more of? This is good to know, right? Personal empowerment to me is all about lining up your life with that spirit, living in alignment with your most authentic self. And it's why I'm so passionate, is because I desperately want to do that. I want to live for my spirit. I want the spirit to lead and me to follow. And I think you'll see, through my influences, it's all been about alignment. And the more we take time in our day and give ourselves permission to line up with that spirit, the more we feel stronger in integrity, and tell me to be louder, and just feel like ourselves, our true self. Cool. So we're going to get started. This is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to try not to read to you, because that's boring. Okay, so we're going to talk about what personal empowerment coaching is. We're going to talk about all the influences that have molded this type of coaching. Can you guys see this okay? It's kind of little right now. We're going to talk about the power and effectiveness of identifying core desired feelings with our clients. Has anyone ever heard that phrase before, core desired feelings? Ooh, this is going to be fun. Okay. I talk about this so much at work. Everyone's like, yeah, here's Steph with her core desired feelings. We're going to talk about our role as coaches, like how we're supposed to show up, what our duty is with our clients. We're going to talk about the personal empowerment session itself, what it looks like, the framework of it. We're going to talk about the empowering results I've found in the last, since June at Mountainside. We've had a great data analysis done, and we're going to talk about some of the results of working with clients. And our little wrap-up. So we can't talk about personal empowerment coaching without talking about what life coaching is. So I found this definition, and I just loved it. I thought it was great. Life coaching is a powerful human relationship in which trained coaches assist people to design their future rather than get over the past. So there's a big difference, right, with that therapeutic world of going back in time, healing the past, figuring out why we are the way we are. And coaching is really present, future-based. We don't need to go back in time. It's where are you right now, and what do you want, and what are you willing to do to get there? Right? So we don't go back there. Coaches aid clients in creating visions and goals for all aspects of their lives, as well as multiple strategies to support achieving those goals. So a client might come to me saying, I want to make a career change, or I want to work on confidence issues. But anything we do, it's going to bleed into other areas of their life, right? When we get better in all areas. And we are working to create those strategies because we want them to see how they can get there. Coaches recognize the brilliance of each client and their personal power to discover their own solutions when provided with support, accountability, and unconditional positive regard. So that's a really huge thing. I do not know better than the client. I do not know better. They have the power, the creative power to create their own solutions. All the answers are inside of them. I'm just here to create the environment that can come out. So what coaching is not. It's not about listening for problems, pathologies, history, pain, or blocks. We are not looking for what's wrong with them. We are not focused on any of their issues. They do not need light on that. They have that. They know that. What we need to listen for is possibilities, goals, dreams, and aspirations. We're here to hold up a mirror to that best self, and just that's it. That's all we want to see in them. It's not about listening for solutions. We distinguish possibilities from solutions. Coaches remain open to clients' creativity in generating their own solutions. So we're aiding an environment where possibilities can arise. We aren't getting to like, what's the answer? What's the right way? We're just possibility thinking. We're not advising or training. Sometimes a coach will briefly teach a skill, but will ask the client's permission first and label the work as such. I am not the teacher. That is not my role. But there might be a moment where I teach a breathing technique or something, but I'll say, like, can we pause coaching for a moment? Let me share this skill with you. Or I'm a real passionate student of law of attraction. That'll come later with the influences. And I'll take a moment to talk about that with my client. But then we'll go back to the coaching. So I do not show up. My role is not to be a teacher or advisor. It's literally to just be witness to their own answers. Am I going way fast? I feel like I'm talking fast. Okay, so what is personal empowerment coaching? So it is life coaching, but with a focus on positive thought. What is positive thought? Do you know what positive thought is? So it's positive thinking, right? It's using your mental energy to the best thoughts possible to create a reality that you desire. So it's about bringing forth your desires through visioning, through imagination. We're going to talk about core desired feelings. So core desired feelings is getting to the essence of how a dream or desire feels. And it's about mind, body, spirit awareness. So it's about bringing in the whole person. It's not just the mind, not just the body. It's bringing in the intuitive spirit too. Yay. Okay, so the biggest influences on the last 4 years of my coaching evolution, my biggest one has been my Soul Luna life coach training. It was taught by Kobe Kozlowski. She just came out with a new TED Talk. I would love everyone to write down her name and watch the TED Talk. I forget the name of it, but she's amazing. She's a powerhouse, and she created this innovative coach training that is very mind, body, spirit centered. She's a yogic teacher too. So that training was cutting edge. It really personally was transformative to me. It was about 6 months long, and I never grew so much in my entire life. So check her out. She's really cool. The second biggest influence is a spiritual teacher called Sonia Choquette. Anyone ever heard of her? No? She's got like 20 books out there. She's good. She's a psychic, vibrational healer, really cool chick. She taught a workshop at Omega about 2 years ago called Creating Your Heart's Desires. And I got to spend a week just getting really clear about what I desire. And that sounds really easy, right? But that was actually a pretty challenging week to actually be able to clarify what is it I actually want. She has a book called Creating Your Heart's Desire with great templates, great reference to have. That would be a good one to work with your clients on. The big one for me is a student of Abraham Hicks, which is the basis of law of attraction. Anyone? Yay, good. There's always a couple that know what I'm talking about. Does anyone know The Secret? You guys know The Secret, right? Yeah. Okay. So The Secret was written by Rhonda Byrne, who's a student of Abraham Hicks, and it's all about using your thoughts to create an awesome reality. And The Law of Attraction was probably the first book out by that. So again, great, just for your own expansion, your own growth. Check it out. And lastly, Danielle Laporte's The Desire Map. The Desire Map changed my coaching. The Desire Map was all about flipping the goal from the actual goal to the feeling of the goal. So as human beings, we are always chasing feelings. We think it's the thing we want, like I want the house or the car or the partner or the money, whatever it is we think we want. But really, we're chasing what we think that thing would feel like. Does that make sense? Right? So she literally is about coaching around the feelings, allowing people to feel those feelings first, if only just to feel them and feel happier, but also to attract those things that they desire. Just a couple quotes from that book. You're not chasing the goal itself. You're chasing the feelings that you hope attaining those goals will give you. Knowing how you actually want to feel is the most potent form of clarity that you can have. Generating those feelings is the most powerfully creative thing you can do with your life. So I want you to just take a moment for a second. I think there's like notebooks on each. Can everyone just rip a page out of that notebook and grab a pen? Okay, so what I want you to do is just for a moment, think of something that you truly desire. Think of something that you really, 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 really want. Either to have or to experience. Doesn't matter. Just think of something that you really want. Imagine that page, is a direct message to your higher power saying, I want this. Just a little request. And write that thing, experience, whatever, on that piece of paper. I wanted this, by the way. I totally wrote in my bucket list. Present for Mountainside. So I got it. Manifestation. Okay. So what you're going to do now is you're going to honestly think of the 3 feelings that would describe how that would feel to actually have that, to actually experience that. What would that feel like? And take your time with this, because sometimes there's a feeling under a feeling, right? Let's think about what it would truly be for you to have that. 3 feelings. So earlier when I asked, how's your spirit today? And I said, does it need more of something? Are the 2 related? Are those feelings related to what we need more of? So with every client that I meet at Mountainside, when I have those one-on-one sessions, all I'm listening for is their values, which to me are their core desired feelings. There's no difference between what they value and what they want to feel. To me, it's helpful to think of it like that. So I'm constantly listening for what do they want to feel more of? What do they want to feel more of? And they're speaking it all the time. They're saying it clearly. And every time they leave that session, they're leaving with their top core desired feelings. I'm really helping them clarify what it is. Is it this? Is it this? And when they leave, it's like a little GPS for where they need to go, for what they need, for their way back to healing. So I think that to have those clarifying words, it can be really, really empowering. And always it's, okay, how can we begin to feel those today? What can we do in the next month for each one of those words to help you embody that value more, right? So we're always creating momentum towards feeling the way they want to feel, because there's nothing more self-loving than allowing themselves to feel the way they want to feel, right? How are you going to feel it that way today? Is it possible? For those 3 words, can you feel that today? I want to have a beach house one day. So. And Dad, do you have a beach house? That's awesome. There's always another beach house person. And that would make me feel like I did it. I love that feeling. I did it. And it would also make me feel like, Ooh. So here's the thing. What do you think will get me that beach house faster? If every day I feel like I did it, and or if I wait to feel that till I have a beach house, right? So we're going to be talking about law of attraction, but if you become a vibrational match, or you start feeling the essence of how you want to feel now, that is very attractive to the things that would feel like that to you. Right? You start bringing them forth more. We are always waiting to feel the way we want to feel until we have that thing. Like, I will feel complete when. I will feel successful when. I will feel confident when. But if we begin to feel it now, all those things that mean that to us can now begin to come to us faster. Does that make sense? So our role as coaches. As coaches, we view our clients as eternal and whole. I wanted to start with that one because Like nothing rubs me the wrong way is when I'm like sitting in team meeting and I hear someone say, "Ooh, he's so sick. Ooh, that guy, he's really sick." Like just the fact that the focus is on how broken people are, because that is not a healing. That is not a healing vision for someone. People need to feel that they are complete. Need to feel that way, right? So if we create a space that I will not see anything, but you are eternal and whole and complete right now, then that is such safe space to really explore who they are. We are not, again, going back to we are not looking for what's wrong with them. We are only seeing how they are perfect, they are whole right now. We trust that they hold all the answers inside. So again, I don't know better than my client. And it can be challenging because they'll come with absolutely no belief in self. They don't feel like they can trust themselves. They've been run by that addict self for so long that they just want to be guided sometimes. But to hold them in that, they have always known what's right for them. They might not have followed it, but they always have had that intuitive knowing. And to begin to build that relationship with that intuition again and trust it again. That's the empowering place, so that they do have the answers inside them. And they're not going to come from me. They're not going to come from outside of them. They might hear something that resonates, right, with that part of them that knows it's true, but it is going to come from them. As coaches, we value the darkness as much as the light. There's something I was taught in my coach training. It was called an appreciation drill, that constantly through the session, I need to be appreciating what's here. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it's been good. All of it's been for their expansion, for their growth. All is good. When we start seeing like, ooh, it's not, we gotta just, it's all good. Illuminate the client's blind spots. Okay, everyone go like this. Do it. Oh, you did it, yay. Okay, so imagine for a moment that like, these are your issues, right? And maybe it's not issues, your limiting beliefs or the tendencies that you go to. Like, here's my codependency, here's my need for validation and approval, here's my impulsivity, all my stuff that some people who know me well can see. I love that you're still doing it, no one else is. Love that. No, I'm just kidding, you can put it down. But that, when you have a great coach, they're gonna start showing you this, right? And you're like, oh God, oh, that's still there, right? Like I just had a great session the other day and I'm like, oh, my mom's stuff is right there still, darn. But that's what we're doing is we're helping them illuminate that part that they think no one can see, but everyone can see. And just showing them so that now they have a choice in the matter. They can say, ooh, do I want to work with that? Yeah, do I want to change that? But just illuminating, putting a flashlight on those limiting beliefs or that old stuff that is still there so they can feel empowered to work with it. We honor and respect them. As a coach, you are being invited to take this journey with them. There's nothing more honorable than that. I mean, we have to come from a place of real gratitude for being able to work with them. And this is my most favorite. We come from a place of childlike curiosity. Everyone knows the difference when a child asks a question that's really uncomfortable, right? But it comes from like innocence and like genuinely like curiosity. And a person who's asking a question that's totally leading, like, you know what I mean? There's a different feel. And, I have to check myself on this. Like, am I being the child who's genuinely curious and wanting to know more? Or am I trying to get them to where I want them to go, right? Because there's a different feeling in that. When I can sincerely come from that place of childlike curiosity, I'm going to get so much more from them because they feel safe to answer. They feel like I want to explore with them. So I'm often just saying like, why, how, what is it about that? Like, tell me more about that. But from a place that's really genuinely interested. People read energy all the time, and if it feels like you're driving it or it feels flat, they know it, right? So we really want to remember, like, how can I be more childlike in my questioning? How can I be more interested? Okay, we guide our clients to align their life with their core desired feelings. So back to that alignment with your spirit. If every day, I'll just share my core desired feelings with you. My top one is fun. My second one is empowered. And my third one is My core desired feelings: fun, empowered, and aha. I did a lot of work to come up with those words. They sound simple, but they're me to the core of my being. They're what I need to feel in all aspects of my life. They're what I need my work to feel like. They're what I need my relationships to feel like. They're what I need my home to feel like. Like it has to, because that's me aligning with my spirit. That's what me aligning with my authentic self, what I need. That's bending life to me rather than me bending to life, right? And it's work. It's hard because it's easy. I'm a mom with 2 kids. It's easy to be like, oh no, I don't need fun. I don't need to feel empowered. It's fine. But when I'm doing that, when I'm every day doing the things that feel like that, then I'm feeling an integrity. Then I'm feeling with alignment with my true self. So that's always what first, it's my job to do me, right? Because that makes me influential with my clients. If I'm not lining up with my core desired feelings and I expect them to, what? No. You know, one person aligned with their core desired feelings is more powerful than millions that aren't. You know, we have to come from that place with like me first, and then permission to feel more of how you want to feel. We're always encouraging them to become more authentic, you know, express themselves freely, wear the clothes their authentic self would want to wear. And always the point of this is to enhance self-appreciation. So we're looking to encourage more self-love. What I love to see most when people leave my sessions is when they have their 3 words that they're leaving with, and they see those 3 words as who they are, and they're like, he's cool, she's cool. Like they just really begin to see like that person is really awesome, and I can just see them change, and they value themselves more. It enhances worthiness. It's just a beautiful thing to see. We're helping them trust their inner wisdom. You know, really helping them see that they have that intuitive part of them that's always leading, that's never been wrong, that is guiding them. And we're increasing their awareness of choice. Because some people really, you know, they feel locked in, like I can only see it in a certain way. And we're just allowing them to see that there are more choices. They are making choices. There's more freedom. There's more available to them. We're helping them respect the past, leave it in the past, right? Live in the present and intentionally create the future that they want. To be active in that they are a conscious creator. And we're helping them take action and move forward. Coaching is coaching because we're creating action. If we're just talking, we're not creating the momentum that they need to grow. So action is absolutely essential for coaching. Okay, so we're going to talk about the session itself. The parts of the session for me, for my training, what I do, first of all is grounding. So that happens before I meet with my clients. And then when I meet with them, we begin to identify a topic. We engage in the actual coaching session. At the end of that, we create field work, add an accountability piece, and I reflect back the gift. And we'll go into each one of those. Any questions so far? Oh my God, you're so cute. Okay, so grounding. This is how I begin a session before they come, just getting grounded in myself, feeling present, anchoring in what I need, you know, to feel like I can bring myself forward as the best coach possible. How do you ground? Like before you meet with a client, how do you do that? Anyone like meditate or breathe or go for a walk or burn sage? Like what do you do? Anyone? Got any? Do you do this? What do you do?
Breathing.
You do breathing?
Focus.
Yeah.
Center myself.
Awesome. Cool.
And actually be present for them.
No. I did this thing when I was a practice coach and I was making like 1 million calls and I was so scared before every call. I wanted to throw up before every call. I was so nervous. I would do this thing where I just started like spinning like this in front of my heart. I don't know what it was, and I just kept going like this, and I felt like it was just kind of clearing away anything from my heart. I don't know what it is, but it became my thing. So now every time I'm like, I don't know. It's my thing. But if you have a ritual, it's good because it really brings you present. It brings you focused. So I encourage everyone before meeting with a client, take that time to ground, to really show up as your best self. And you're putting your stuff aside, right? You're here, putting your stuff aside. Once they get in and we've done a little clearing, like how are you doing, we begin to identify what they want to coach around. What's the topic? Now, the topic always comes from the client. So no matter if I've met with them before, it's not for me to be like, oh, we worked on this last week, let's do this week. No, it always comes from them. It's always about them leading. They actually call when I'm outside of Mountainside working, and I have independent clients, they call me. I don't call them. So it's always about them taking initiation for their own change. So the topic comes from them, and then we get really clear on what the topic is. We've all experienced, I'm sure, with our clients that they come with a topic, but that's not really the topic, right? There's a topic under that. So we got to kind of make sure we're at the actual topic. You feel the actual topic, right? It has a different energy. You're like, oh, no, that's it. So we're just digging a little until we get to what it actually is. And always I'm just reflecting that back. So it sounds like we're actually working on, and I'm just reflecting it back. But we don't really begin coaching until we know what it is. Because what happens if you're not really clear about the real topic, you're just kind of skating and like on the surface, and you can't get the shift. Does that make sense? Okay. So now we engage in the actual coaching. And there's 3 different types of coaching that I do, and we'll go into each one of them. Passion and possibilities coaching, perspectives coaching, and exploring emotions. I put them in that order because that's kind of the order I work with at Mountainside. I do a lot of passion and possibility coaching. Second to that, I do some perspective coaching. I don't do as much exploring emotion coaching because that tends to be a quieter session, and they have to really trust me and know me. I do that more outside of Mountainside because right now I'm meeting with them maybe once during their stay. If we had that, hopefully going to build that up. But if we had multiple sessions together, I might do exploring emotions towards the later ones. So our skill set, our tool set as a coach is just dynamic questioning, right? Motivational interviewing. We all know this. We're asking them open-ended questions. We're getting as much as we can from them. We're asking clients to elaborate. Tell me more about that. So we're digging deeper. I added this and give them something to press against because I used to be really afraid of like offering something to a client like and having it be wrong. Does anyone know that feeling? Like, is it this? And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, I suck. But now I do it all the time because often they'll say, I don't know. And I'm like, is it this? And they're like, no, it's this. Like it just gave them enough momentum to push off against, to get clarity. So I don't be afraid to be wrong. Like offer things that are totally wrong just to give them some clarity because they need that. I often find too that as soon as clients say I don't know, we're getting somewhere because right behind the I don't know is the no, right? I love it. It's always so good after the I don't know. Just stay with it long enough. Okay, so passion and possibilities. This is what I do mostly at Mountainside because in residential treatment, they need to taste hope. They need to taste optimism for the future. They need to feel like better is possible. So this is a very airy session. This is me asking them to tell me about what they love. We're talking about their values, what they appreciate, moments in their life where they felt very alive. And we're keeping it present and future-based. Because they have a tendency, right, to when you talk about what you love, they'll go into like ugly stuff in the past, and you're like, nope, we're gonna keep it here, So, when you ask someone about what they love, they'll tell you about heartbreak. You ask someone about wealth, they'll tell you when they felt the poorest. It's just like a human nature, right? We go to the fear place. So it's like keeping them. What is it? What would be the ideal? What would be the dream? We're identifying values and core desired feelings. So as soon as I'm hearing what's important to them, I'm reflecting that back. Sometimes I'm writing it and clarifying it. Sometimes I'm just speaking it back to them. But I'm making sure they leave the session really clear on what's important to them. And I keep digging. This is like the number one thing I want you to hear. It has to be a felt experience. So they have to actually embody that feeling, the essence of those core desired feelings, or we didn't get there. Right? And sometimes that's so disappointing, especially as a coach. Right, Dylan? When they don't get there, it's like, oh, God, I want it. You want them to feel the hope, feel the change. So if I have a client who brought up or who identified that fly fishing was like, oh, actually I had a great one. This guy spent a year going across the world in a ship when he was like 19. And he was very, showed up very depressed all the time to group. And when he started talking about this, he like lit up. So, I just had him stay with it. Like, tell me more about that. What was exciting about that? Like, what was it you were appreciating there? What was it about that person on the ship that, like I just kept him stewing in it. And like, that quote, people won't remember what you taught them or whatever, they'll remember how you made them feel. He will remember how that felt, right? That like maybe 10 minutes of just being in that memory and being in what was important about that. He was like, he left with a big smile on his face, and it was so nice. And you really want to keep him in that essence, so you want to keep digging. When I was, a beginning coach and I was scared of everything, I would ask a question and felt like, oh, I asked enough about that, I should move on, right? Like I don't want to annoy them by asking them questions. But you want to keep digging. As a client myself being coached, I was always like disappointing when my coach would stop at a certain point. Like I just started to get there talking about what I love and feeling it, and then she moved on to something else, like another question. I was like, oh, like I wanted to talk about that more. So don't be afraid to really just keep working on that one thing, because they're getting there. By the time they're really there, you're going to see it in their body, like they're going to be totally lit up. And you're mirroring body language. So when people are like talking like this, like, oh, and it's like this, it's like, what's this? What is that? Getting them to see like what their body's saying. Like the body's always speaking, and we want them to be able to see that truth too. Develop a relationship with the saboteur and the authentic self. Okay, so they already are a little bit in relationship with that saboteur, the addict self that's been bringing them down, but they're terrified of it, right? So what we're doing is, yes, we're wanting to build a relationship with the authentic self, because that's the part we want leading, right? We want them to feel like there's that highest self that's bringing them along. But we also want to build them in a relationship that's a kinder, gentler one with that saboteur. Because that saboteur will always be with them. It's in all of us, right? We have to work with it. So how do we want to be in relationship with it? Do we want to hate it or fight it or be terrified of it? Or do we want to, give it a cookie and have it sit over here while we talk about what we do want, So we're helping them see that there's different parts of themselves, and they get to choose who's driving that day. So I also do perspective coaching. Perspective coaching is really powerful because it helps clients get out of a stuck way of seeing something. I do this thing called experiential perspective work, where the client will identify a topic. So maybe it's like, I can't get sober, or I can't do sober living because I have to go right home, or something that they're dealing with. And I actually create contrived perspectives, ones that I make up, and I put them around the room. And I have them actually get up, walk over, and try on different perspectives. So this is doing multiple things. This is getting them out of their usual way of thinking, and they're talking about what that perspective would be like. Like, for example, what's the perspective of your younger self? What's the perspective of your counselor? What's the perspective of your higher power? What's the perspective of your heart? I'm just making it up, right? But it puts them in a different way of thinking, right? It's all intuition, because they're answering. So it's all intuitive knowing. And it makes such a difference for them to hear their own truth rather than me advise them, right? When they hear themselves say it, they're like, oh, okay. Like it sinks in deeper. And I'm using geography, so I'm using the room, I'm using the space to create different perspectives. So if they were here in this like stuck, fearful energy, and I get them up and I put them in front of a window, and I ask them to tell me about their higher power's perspective, it's going to feel different, right? It's going to anchor in a different way, because they're choosing to get up and try on something new. When I'm coaching in the summertime, I'm always coaching outside, and we'll go sit under the apple tree, go by the waterfall. Like, it's so fun to use nature for different perspectives, because they remember that. Like, it anchors in, like, that there's different ways of thinking of things, different views. It's really expansive. And you bring in personal choice. So at the end of each session, for perspective coaching, I do ask them, which one do you want? Like, you tried on all these perspectives, and they all felt very different. Which one do you want? Because you can come right back to that fearful one that we started at. I can't go there. I can't stay sober. But you have also these other ones to choose from. And they picked the one that felt the best to them. You know, it's like trying on clothes. Some clothes don't feel good. Some clothes feel really good. But it's helpful for them to see that they have a choice in that. They don't have to stay stuck in their thinking. And exploring emotions. So again, this is the quieter session. We're going deep into an emotion that they've been experiencing lately. It's very body-centered, so where are you feeling that emotion in your body? Bring mindfulness to that area. I'm not doing any talking really. Maybe I'll ask a guided question and we'll sit for a while. They're having an inward journey. We're building deep presence with that emotion, just to be in relationship with it. We're not trying to get anywhere. We're just trying to be really connected to it. And we're building abstract awareness. So some of this stuff is not rational. Like I'll ask a question like, you know, does it have a color? Does it have a shape? You know, if you were to look at that emotion with a flashlight, is anything else there? You know, I'm asking questions that sometimes don't make sense, but they're helping just build relationship with it. So it's not so scary. They're not fighting that emotion so bad. We're utilizing metaphor, you know. Sometimes they'll say like, oh, it's a big stone in there or something, you know. So we'll walk over and we'll get a stone and they can hold it. Like I'm using the metaphor that's there. I'm helping them really attach to that truth, even if it's not really understandable. It's like we're just exploring. And it's curious exploring. It's that childlike curiosity where we're not trying to get anywhere. We're just interested. What's here? What can we learn about that? And is there a shift when we bring presence to that area? Does the emotion shift? We're not trying to get it to shift, but sometimes it does. Has there been a shift? Ooh, when he shuts down. That's, yeah. Well, we're getting somewhere, right? Yeah. I think it's just about presence, you know. Often, like when I'm being coached in emotion, I'll go right to my head and I'll start talking. And my coach will just be like, nope, going back.
Yeah.
No, going
Sounds
back.
like you put somebody in their body a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place that you usually don't spend any time.
Totally.
So all of a sudden there,
Mm-hmm.
about the emotion, sometimes people may not really want to be there.
Totally. And you can find an edge with people because you'll intuitively know and you can say, okay, we're going to go this way now. Now we're being guided this way. But sometimes, you know, I mean, it has to be welcome. They want to do the exploring too.
Sure.
But you'll get a feel for it. Okay, so skills for empowering. We're always focusing on their strengths, always looking for what they do right, always, you know, reframing, validating the client. We're reframing limiting beliefs all the time too. Like if someone clearly has a belief that's been limiting them for a really long time, we're going to try and what's the opposite of that? Or what, you know, how could you think of that? How would you like to think about that? Because we want them to first build awareness that there's a limiting belief there, but we're going to try on, you know, what it would be to be different. We're validating the client's feelings, and we're possibility thinking. So we're just making more room for possibilities, for expansion, what else could be. And then at the end of the session, we are creating field work. So they did some learning in that session. They got clarity around something. So now we want we want that momentum to continue. So we want to create field work that can embody those values or that new perspective that they chose or that emotion that they explored. We want them to continue that. That field work is always co-created. So we're coming up with that together. It's going to be moving them towards the goal that we're working with, but also just really bringing that value, that core desired feeling into today. It's evolutionary, moves them forward, and often I use anchors, objects, metaphor, ritual, or affirmations to deepen learning. We have a beautiful labyrinth at Mountainside that is amazing, and you know, often they'll write something and walk the labyrinth and burn it, that ritual that locks in, you know, change. We'll use objects, like someone had a bracelet the other day and they wanted to work on negative self-talk. So every time he noticed himself saying something, he switched it, you know, just to anchor in learning. Using affirmations, we teach a mala workshop at Mountainside where they create like a mala bracelet, and maybe they're walking away with those core desired feelings, and I'm having them use that mala to repeat those words to themselves. So we're just using anchors. And of course, the field work is a SMART goal. So it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time sensitive. They're going to know it if they did it. And then we provide some accountability. So by when will you do this? Right? If I have a client who's working on just feeling more authentic, and she's always been a dancer and she hasn't danced in 10 years, maybe her soul work is to go find a dance class and dance, or just put on a song every day and for 5 minutes dance by herself. I want to know that she's doing it. So she's going to maybe email me at the end of each week and let me know I did it or I didn't do it, and this is why, but this is what I will do. But it's important as a coach that I'm providing that accountability piece. So it's not just what they said in the session and it stays there. I want to know by when and how will you let me know. Mostly the clients will email me because that's just easier to get back to. And then at the end of the session, I'm reflecting the gift. This is a really important part because it allows the client to really be seen for that best self. So what did I see in them during that session that I want to reflect back? It has to be genuine. It has to be sincere. So, and sometimes the best thing you can say is, it was my honor to coach with you, right? But usually I try to think of what stood out to me in that session about this person. Like maybe it was their commitment to sobriety, or their deep love for their family, or their determination just to grow. Whatever it was that was coming forth, I want to say that to them. I want to make sure that they know that I saw that and can reflect that back. I want to be clear and specific. When I was first starting out as a coach, I would go on these long rants about how much I love them and how great they are. And I learned that the shorter I say it, the more powerful it is. So it needs to be short and sweet. I'm inspired by your love for your family. That's boom, short and sweet. And also it has to be genuine. Like if you are just saying something to say it because you think you should, it will fall flat so quick, and it will almost negate the session. It just feels weird. And I've done it. I've had it done to me. It's weird. You want to really be genuine with that. But that's a really powerful thing. Every single one of my coaches who do this really well for me allows me to leave with such love, or self-love and value and worthiness. It's a huge thing. Yay, results. We had these really awesome data analysis guys at Mountainside that I just called and was like, hey, can you show me some stuff that this works because I'm doing this presentation? And they created this for me. So I was super psyched because it made me look really smart. Okay, so out of 70 people who did a pre-test, post-test survey on their one-on-one sessions, this is how they began. The columns on the left, this is anxiety and worry, cravings, depression and sadness, and lack of focus. And this is how they ended. So that was an average of 70 people, so that's good, right? The next one, he broke it down. How specific is this? Isn't it great? Alcohol, drug of choice, heroin, drug of choice, and opiates, and what that session felt like. I would love to know the experience of the lasting result, like what it was a month out or 6 months out. This is a survey that they do at the end of their stay with a breakdown of every group they did or program they took advantage of. And we have a 4.0 as our highest. And out of 29 people who answered this question, 3.97 satisfactory rating. So that's pretty cool. Yay. Okay, and our wrap up. So what I hope you walk away from is that life coaching helps clients identify what motivates them and create an action plan for growth and change. We want that action plan. We want to have them having that GPS, that vision for where they want to go. It provides a sense of connection, clarity, and inspiration. It empowers clients to identify and focus on their unique gifts and strengths. I always say that when they leave with those 3 words, that's your purpose right now. They're dying for a purpose. Like, I don't know my purpose. That's your purpose right now. Feel the way you want to feel. That will help. That is it. That's the purpose. And coaches help clients stay focused, challenged, and motivated for they're living their lives on purpose, intentionally creating. They're in the driver's seat. Cool. And my favorite quote, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Eleanor Roosevelt. Thank you, guys.